Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a truth that completely reshapes how we view success. The difference between dreamers and achievers isn't about having raw talent, a sky-high IQ, or just getting lucky. Not at all. The profound difference is actually how they protect, direct, and use their energy. It's literally the single most defining factor in whether a vision stays just a passing thought or actually becomes a reality.
So it's a super relatable human dilemma, right? Think about it. There are basically two types of people in this world. The first type, they go to sleep thinking about the life they want to build. They're constantly planning, constantly wishing. But the second type, they have the exact same dreams, the exact same starting point, but they actually get there. So why does this happen? Well, the answer lies not in how they manage their clocks, but in how they manage their internal batteries.
Okay, let's dive right into this comparison. The dreamer usually operates under this totally outdated myth of time management. They rely on fleeting motivation. You know the drill. They chug coffee in the morning, crash hard in the afternoon, and try to just force their way through tasks until they're completely depleted. The achiever, on the other hand, treats their daily resources entirely differently. They focus entirely on energy management. They work in calculated rhythms, and they let a deep, clearly defined purpose drive their stamina rather than just relying on a temporary caffeine rush.
Now, this isn't just some nice-sounding theory. It's actually grounded in the pioneering research of performance psychologist Dr. Jim Loyer. He spent decades studying world-class athletes and top Fortune 500 executives. And what he realized is this: while the number of hours in a day is strictly fixed to 24 for every single person on Earth, the quantity and quality of our energy are absolutely not. Energy, not time, is your fundamental biological currency.
Moving on to Section 1, the 4 levels of energy. This is Dr. Jim Lower's framework for high performance. So managing your energy actually requires understanding it from the ground up, kind of like a pyramid. It starts at the physical foundation, your body, your sleep, and your daily movement. Without this base, honestly, the whole shebang crumbles. Then, right above that comes emotional energy, which is fueled by your mindset and the quality of your relationships. Next up is mental energy, which dictates your focus and clarity in what is a highly distracted world. And finally, at the very peak of this system is spiritual energy. This is your fundamental purpose, your deeper why. The highest performers out there, they master their capacity across all 4 of these interconnected levels. To really anchor this concept of spiritual energy, let's look at Elon Musk back in 2008. Tesla was bleeding cash, literally on the verge of bankruptcy. SpaceX had just suffered its 3rd consecutive rocket explosion, putting the entire company at massive risk. And simultaneously, he was going through a highly publicized, painful divorce. He was physically exhausted, emotionally drained, and facing total financial ruin. Most people would have just walked away to save what little sanity and money they had left, but he absolutely refused.
He actually told his team he'd spend his absolute last dollar on these companies because the mission mattered more than his personal comfort. Think about that. That is a man who had his spiritual energy so clearly defined that physical exhaustion and emotional stress simply couldn't stop him. You see, energy directed by a clear spiritual purpose is an unstoppable force. But energy without direction, that inevitably leads straight to burnout and exhaustion.
All right, Section 2, neuroscience and flow states. Let's look at the biology of high performance.
Stanford neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman reveals something truly fascinating about how this works on a biological level. Sure, mechanically speaking, your brain runs on glucose and oxygen. But your brain's available energy isn't just about the food you eat. The actual availability of that energy is fundamentally dictated by the state of your nervous system at any given moment.
It's like this. When you're in a sympathetic state, meaning high cortisol, chronic stress, survival mode, your brain simply can't function at its peak. Your biological resources are entirely diverted to surviving a perceived threat. You just cannot build a great life on a depleted, chronically stressed nervous system. For sustainable performance, you absolutely have to shift into the parasympathetic state. That's your rest and digest mode. It's characterized by calm focus, where your prefrontal cortex comes fully online to drive deep creativity and peak execution.
Applying this theory perfectly, we can look at the late NBA legend Kobe Bryant. He wasn't just out there blindly working more hours than everyone else on the court. Actually, he treated his recovery just as intensely as his practice. He slept 8 to 9 hours a night, non-negotiable. He obsessively tracked his ultradian rhythms. Those are those natural 90-minute biological cycles of peak alertness. He did this to ensure his hardest, most demanding work happened exactly when his energy peaked. He didn't just push harder, he protected his biological schedule like it was absolutely sacred.
And managing your energy this deliberately, it allows you to enter what the renowned psychologist Dr. Macaulay Csikszentmihalyi called flow. It's that magical state of complete absorption and effortless focus in a challenging task. He actually proved that humans perform at their absolute best, not when they're passively relaxing on the couch, but when their mind or body is voluntarily stretched to its limits in a meaningful way. Flow is never an accident, guys. It is the direct result of optimal, intentional energy management.
Moving into Section 3, the 5 hidden energy drains. These are the silent assassins of your day. Now, I really want you to listen closely to this list. Every open loop or unfinished decision literally sits in your brain, silently burning glucose and causing decision fatigue. Then you have takers in your social circle, people who just drain your emotional support without ever giving back. Or what about mindless consumption? Endless doom scrolling on social media without creating anything of value? It just numbs your mind. Also, living against your core values causes this exhausting low-level nervous system conflict that you feel every single day. And finally, the wrong physical environment. If your space is full of noise, clutter, and constant interruptions, it heavily taxes your focus. Every single item here is a measurable biological cost that is holding you back.
And finally, Section 4, the ultimate energy system. This is how to become supernatural. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research on radical transformation reminds us of a really powerful truth. The exact moment you decide that what you know is more important than how tired or unmotivated you might feel, that is when you own your energy. And make no mistake, when you own your energy, you absolutely own your life. So getting there requires executing these 6 steps every single day. Step 1, define your absolute purpose to fuel the engine. Step 2, aggressively protect the first 60 to 90 minutes of your morning. I mean, no phone, no news, no external agendas. Step 3, work in 90-minute blocks of intense focus followed by 20 minutes of recovery. That perfectly matches those natural ultradian rhythms we talked about earlier. Step 4, recover properly with 7 to 9 hours of sleep and daily movement. Step 5, guard your emotional energy by actively seeking joy and avoiding resentment. And Step 6, rigorously eliminate those silent drains and leaks every single night. I really want you to remember this deeply leveling fact. From Elon Musk to Kobe Bryant to every scientist, artist, and innovator who ever changed the world, they all had the exact same 24 hours in a day as you do right now. The profound difference is simply that they deliberately invested their energy into what actually mattered instead of wasting it on what didn't. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Your dream doesn't need more of your time, it desperately needs more of your energy. It deserves your absolute best. So, starting tomorrow morning, exactly where will you direct it?